Hello, I think it's time for a story. Well, hey, I was wondering about something. Have you ever had an opportunity to be grouchy? What do you think? Grouchy? Let me think. Have you ever gone in a line ready to go to a meal and there's a nice big cookie there and you're all ready to reach for it? And somebody breaks in line right in front of you and they take that cookie and they put it on their plate and it's bye-bye cookie. Wow, is that grumpy time? Is it the time to be a grouch then? I don't know, might be. How about if you're at the store with your mommy or daddy and you're looking for a nice new bicycle and there's a bright red one, a beautiful red one. It's got streamers coming out of the handlebars, might even have a bell to ring. Boy, that sounds like fun. And just right before you get to that nice bicycle, oops, somebody else has that bicycle. They decide they want it, or maybe the person selling it says, "Oh, we can't sell this bicycle because we don't have any in boxes, and we have to have the display model still there." Oh man! Well, I got to tell you something. I had a chance to be grouchy just about 2 weeks ago, and I'll tell you all about it. Well, some of you guys might know this, but I like guitars. Isn't that something? A guitar is like a box. It's got some metal strings on it, and people play music on it, and I think it's magic. I think they're amazing. But some guitars are fancier than others, and it's nice to have a really good one. Well, I had some friends that wanted a guitar because their son was going to graduate, and so they asked me, "Harvey, can you help us find a really good guitar?" And I said, "I would love to try." And so off we went on. I went on an adventure, and I got to go looking for guitars, which I dearly love to do. Well, I went to a big store that I'd been to a lot of times, and I looked and looked and looked, and sure enough, there was a beautiful guitar, and it sounded good, and it played good, and it was just saying, "Harvey, I'm the one that you need to have." And so, you know what? Here's something you can do. If you don't have all the money for the whole guitar, I'll tell you what. You can go and talk to the salesperson and say, "Hey, I just have a little bit of money. Can you hold it for me?" And they say, "Sure, be happy to." Well, I did that. I put it on hold. They call it layaway. And so I gave them some money, and you know what? I came back in a week, and guess what happened? You'll never guess. In fact, I wouldn't have guessed because it wasn't even in part of my mind. But when I walked in the door and they looked for that guitar, nope, wasn't there. They said, "Oh man, we made a boo-boo. We sold that guitar to somebody else." And I wasn't feeling very good right then. In fact, I was thinking, if I was a little younger, I'd just throw myself on the ground and kick and scream. I don't know. Maybe I clench my fist, hold my breath, maybe just go, "Grrr," stuff like that. Let me think. What else can you do? Go stomping off. That's a trick. Maybe try that out. Well, I tell you what, I was going and thinking about what I could do because I wasn't feeling very good. So I walked off and I thought about that. And I got to tell you what happened. I started thinking, what could I do? And I'll tell you what I did. Well, years ago, I learned this trick, and it's a cool trick. I'd like to pass it on to you. And that's a thing called a Bible promise. There's a thing Jesus says, well, it's in the Bible. It says, by his great and precious promises, you become a partaker of the divine nature. That's a lot of big words, but that means if you use Bible promises, you become more like God. That's kind of a cool thing. God's awesome. So if we can become more like God, that's pretty cool. So there's this one promise that says all things work together for good, even if your guitar's sold off underneath you. There's another one that says no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And I was kind of discouraged, and I said, you know what, that's a weapon formed against me, and I'm not going to let it prosper. So I'll tell you what, I walked back to the counter, and I said, you know what, we'll go ahead and just let it lie. I don't care. We'll just let it go, and you guys have a good day. And I stepped outside, and I thought, you know, what are we going to do? Well, I tell you what, I looked on Google and I said, why don't we find a place to get a guitar? And I looked, and you know what? I found a guitar store that I did not know was there, had never seen it before. Drove up to it. I had to call to have them open the door for me. I walked in there, and there was this beautiful guitar. And it was a lot better than the other one that I had money down on. And I saved over $200 on that guitar. And that is a beautiful, beautiful guitar. And you know what I am glad for? I didn't waste a lot of energy and emotional distress. And I didn't cause a ruckus and make enemies. And I was able to save money. And I was able to find a new store that had all kinds of new stuff that I can't wait to get back there and enjoy looking at more things there. And all of those blessings came about because I was able to claim this promise. All things work together for good. And the other promise, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And those are promises that you can claim too. Let's say those together. First one, all things work together for good. All together now. All things work together for good. And the second one, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Let's try that. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And that's the story for today. Let's have a story next week too, okay? Have a good day. Lord bless.